Despite being one of Counter-Strike's oldest and most iconic maps, I still see a lot of newer players making the same mistakes over and over again on Inferno. In this video, I'm going to show you what you're doing wrong so you can win more games and rank up quickly. Let's get into it. A mistake I see a lot of players make is they don't understand how Inferno is actually played. They know the positions and they know the util, explosive Molotov, however they don't know why they're throwing that, so it's important to understand. So Inferno is actually all about taking space. And that is because T's can execute on these sites near instantaneously. As you can see, I'm going to throw the smoke and then get onto site. It takes about 3 to 4 seconds, so it leaves no time for rotates. So as a CT, you need to be taking space early and often. Taking space doesn't just end right after this initial banana volley, it actually continues on later into the round. Say you're a CT who has lost control of car and sandbags because of all the utility the T's have been throwing. Instead of falling back to site and just playing one of the various angles, there's many ways you can actually re-aggress top car mid-round so you can deny the T space and prevent an execute on your site. One way I like to do this is by throwing a top car molly and flash and then retaking the top banana. So a way to do this is just by looking right at this slide right here, a Molotov, walking the car, and then walking up on this right hand side. As your teammate is back towards the coffin, throwing a flashbang like this, he's just going to throw it for you, and then you are going to peek right up the flash and re-aggress these angles and slowly retake down banana, forcing the T's to either fight you or execute on a site. A mistake a lot of players make from this point is that they get far too aggressive in banana. They'll get this initial control and maybe even a pick or two, and then try to rush down banana and fight the players that are steps or even Mexico and top mid, and this is going to end in a disaster. I don't know how many times we have been in a 5v3, 5v4 situation. Our players have run down, both gotten insta-picked, and then we just lose B and lose the round. What you want to do as a B player, once you've got this control, is just continuously smoke off the bottom of banana and hold on to the space as long as possible. There's nothing wrong with playing these aggressive angles like over here towards broom, towards tree, top car, or even jump spotting at half wall. But the main goal is not to take the fights, but to rather deny the T's ability to execute on B and force them towards A. Similarly, on A, it's a good idea to take this initial apps and top lane control. However, don't be afraid late to mid round to fall back to site and hold from either pit or one of the various angles on the actual bomb site and have a strong multi-leveled defense. This brings me to my biggest pet peeve for CT side Inferno, and that is when players misunderstand how to play pit. It's not some crazy spot where you're just trying to tap everybody that is peeking you from short. What you're actually trying to do here is catch little cheeky timings on T's that are executing on the actual bomb site, whether that be from short, whether that be from truck, or even apps. What you're trying to do in a position like pit is actually just wait for the T's to engage your players on the bomb site or even a moto, and then swing out and try to catch them as they're looking at those players. It's not uncommon once you've learned the timing to get 2 or 3 kills here and just completely shut down the T's execute and win the round for your team. Another mistake I see a lot of new players make is not understanding how rotates work when the T's are trying to take top lane control. So when this smoke comes off, I see a lot of players falling back to an angle like this, and then falling back to a CT right here. This position is actually very bad as it completely takes you out of the fight and abandons your players on the actual A site, and your only real way to help them out from this position is to go into library and to try to catch a player on the cross from short, which is a pretty hard shot to hit for a lot of newer players. This isn't even to mention, if you want to re-aggress out of library, you have to clear all sorts of cheeky little angles for the T's to be in, and it's going to be very hard to do. What you actually want to do when the T's smoke off arch is fall back to a position like Moto. Moto is very strong as it allows you to still contest towards arch, but also allows you to help out your A defense as you can still peek into apps and towards truck. In a game, it's going to look a little bit like this. They're up. That's a negative. Lastly, a mistake a lot of beginners make is not using boosts. Boosts are a great way to take advantage of the elevation change and catch these off guard. and you just never see them utilized very often in pugs. Even this boost on B site cross is still very good, as a lot of times Ts aren't throwing an execute onto B, but rather playing contact, so they'll end up throwing a smoke grenade like this, which means you can still peek over the top of it and get an easy kill or two. Switching over to the T side, a huge mistake a lot of new players don't make, and this is a massive game changer that will win you more rounds, is not counting the CT utility that has been thrown. Now, this may not sound like a big deal, however, it is. Inferno is one of the most heavily util-based maps, and by making the CTs throw more util than they need, you're going to have a massive advantage as a T come mid to late round. For example, if you do the standard CT setup of 382B, and the CTs do their default where they just throw one molly close and one smoke down the net, we know that they only have one of each left come late round. So what we want to do is slowly re-aggress up towards car and sandbags, and maybe throw a smoke towards CT here, trying to bait out the other CT util as they think a push is happening imminently. Expanding upon this, you bring it to all the different parts of the map, like towards lane, towards apps, and you can see you can really make the CTs have no util while keeping yours for your actual execute. This brings us over to top, mid, and lane, where I see a lot of players not understanding how to correctly take control of this area and end up losing a lot of players or just taking a ton of damage. So it's actually pretty simple. All you need is a smoke, molly, and sometimes a flashbang, and I'm going to show you how to do it right here. So an easy lineup is just to come to this metal gate right here, look at the corner of this roof, and just do a simple left click through, and now this will just smoke off the arch. Another way to throw this, if you just instead want to come up here, you just to look underneath this window and do another left click throw. Either way, this left side is just now completely smoked off. So for this right side, all you do is come up to the left side of this wall now, and huck a molly right below this light post right here. And this will land and flush out anybody that's hiding in any of these G positions. There's also a way to throw it when you're in apps, and that is just by banking off this little brown part of this door frame. Either way, you have complete control of this right side under porch. If you're worried about a player being either boosted up towards top or in this cheeky little ninja corner, all you gotta do is have a friend come through a flashbang like this, look up this general area, do a left and right click, and close on the entry, and you just peek with that. You can take the fight towards the guy that's up on top, or just peek towards this guy after this flashbang is popped. The last mistake I see a lot of new players make is the thinking they can just run out of apps and win all these gunfights and take sight. There's just too many angles for you to have to worry about. You have to worry about all three pit angles, you have to worry about side of apps, you have to worry about all these different various site angles where the CTs can be hiding, and you have to worry about graveyard, you have to worry about moto, you have to worry about library. Again, there's just far too many to worry about. So, how do we deal with this? Well, there's another smoke molly flash combo we can use to get out of apps relatively safely. The first one is going to be a smoke, and we're going to come up to this radiator right here. Look at this windowsill, look at the underneath part of the top, and just left click a smoke. This is a lurk smoke, and it will allow us to get out onto the balcony here without being seen from sight. Coming back into apps, we go to where this fire exit sign is and look between this big post and this little post right in the middle at this one right here. We're going to bring out our Molotov and aim for these top little grates. You can see it's much easier to see in game, but all you got to do is left click a molly, and this will land directly in pit again and flush the player out to the right. And lastly, from this position, just take one step forward, aim right above the windows of this church bell, and throw a flashbang. Now this is going to blind anybody that is coming out of pit, as well as looking at you from sight. If we want to throw all three at once, it looks a little bit like this. Boom. Did you guys learn anything new? Let me know down in the comments below, and follow for more. I post a new video every Friday. Also, check out my Twitch. I stream most weekday mornings. Thanks.